Thank you. Sir, please sir mute. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mute. Sir, please unmute Dr. Ramon Kumar. I would like to I would like to request Dr. Ramon Kumar for your speech. Dr. Ramon Kumar. Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Sir.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just share my screen. Dear colleagues and friends, I hope you are all able to see my screen. So, first of all, I would like to welcome you all to South Asia again after 2018. We had 15th World Rural Health Conference, and I'm glad and I'm very happy to have you all again back to South Asia. South Asia, as we all know, is one of the most populated geographies in the world. We have around 25% of the human population living in our part of the world, and predominantly we are rural. We have huge diversity and also disparity, and we are predominantly a rural agriculture based economy. most of the countries, and we have few urban centers developing, but South Asia is largely rural. And there may be some variations. For example, Nepal is considered one of the most rural countries with rural, remote terrain. And in all of these regions, countries, family medicine, the concept of family doctors, academic family doctors, is still developing, evolving. And we, of course, like anywhere else, we have huge challenge of recruiting, retaining rural workforce in our part of the world. Although our respective governments in our countries are trying their best to address this challenge and disparity and issues of the health need of the rural population. So I'm sure because of the pressing needs of the population in our region, uh, we will have continued focus from our colleagues of Wonca Rural Health, WORSA, which is the South Asia Forum of Rural Doctors, Rural Family Physicians. And I'm sure in future we will continue to come back to our region. And we have great interest in our member organizations. And these are the member organizations we represent from Wonca South Asia region. The regional president, Wonca South Asia. We have Academy of Family Physicians of India, Bangladesh Academy of Family Physicians, Bangladesh College of General Practitioners, College of Family Physicians of Pakistan, College of General Practitioners of Sri Lanka, Federation of Family Physicians Association of India, General Practitioners Associations of Nepal, Indian Medical Association College of General Practitioners, Pakistan Society of Family Physicians, Lahore. And very uniquely, I would like to congratulate Dr. Jakur Rahman and his young colleagues from Bangladesh for founding Primary Care and Rural Health Bangladesh, which is hosting this World Conference, the 17th World Rural Health Conference. And it gives a momentum and kind of modeling in our region how we can galvanize the interest, the processes, and the forward movement of addressing the rural healthcare disparities, challenges in our region. So congratulations to uh, rural health, primary care and rural health Bangladesh, and all our colleagues in Bangladesh who have worked very hard for this conference. It has been challenging time for all of us in our region. Invariably, in India, we are just about to touch 10 million marks of corona positive patients, and we had around more than 100,000 deaths already, and large number of healthcare providers affected. And we have seen the problems coming from the airports and going deeper into the rural areas. So I've been thinking, and from the perspective of our region, how we should address in a future direction, and what are the priority areas, and how we can form an agenda for South Asia and support more of this rural healthcare needs from our member organizations perspective. And as we progress through this conference, and we will be continuing till February. We have 3 days now, and then we have weekly seminars towards beginning of next year. So I have some ideas for all of us to think upon. It is a global conference. I'm sure some statement would be coming from Wonca Rural. But these are the 10 points I would like to put forward for consideration of the South Asia region. As we know, as I said, we have rural economy, we have problem of migrations. We had, for example, in India, we saw on televisions and social media, uh, people during the COVID lockdown traveling from cities, urban areas to their rural habitats with great difficulties. And this is a region where we have also, because of the disparities, we have huge internal migration problem also. Largely, we talk about the international migration problems and issues. But in our region, we have huge internal migration, migrant population, and they have specific needs within the cities and urban habitats, as well as their families living back in rural areas. So this is one of the areas we should look given this COVID pandemic time. Of course, we have challenges of rural health infrastructure and human resource. We saw how Bangladesh is improving upon the community health centers, and So this needs to be replicated and strengthened. Supporting rural family doctors and healthcare workforce. Our workforce is largely concentrated in urban areas is skewed. But how do we support and actually connect academically and logistically and and I often see our rural workforce largely cut off, totally cut off from any kind of academic ongoing professional development processes. We do not have, although there is a component of rural practice within medical curriculum. We see some of the medical colleges located in the rural areas also, but largely it is tertiary care based, and it is different from what uh, Professor Roger Strasser just discussed. His experiment of a curriculum and medical school in Northern Ontario, Canada, and we need to rethink on our medical education, reorient it, and we need to have logistics and infrastructure for training and continuous professional development. We saw the rural health policies, and these are the five and five more. And we need to develop rural practice career pathways for our doctors, especially for young doctors. We see a lot of good thinking on part of medical students, good enthusiasm, and good intent. But how do we convert their intent into a long-lasting career? It is challenging, both in terms of professional development attainment as well as in terms of financial reimbursement and reward. We need more leaders like Dr. Jakur, Dr. Pratyush, Dr. Vikas, Dr. Sanka. From our region, I'm talking, they're all are spice route as well as rural health leaders and heroes. And we need to encourage more students like we see active on primary care rural health Bangladesh. And we need to support more of this process and see them succeed in their endeavors. We of course have double burden of infectious diseases and NCD, and we have to address both. And this is the time we were talking about universal health care, and it is of course because of the financial reason, historical reasons, the poor infrastructure. It is challenging to implement, achieve universal health coverage and sustainable development goals by 2030. And most importantly, like anywhere else, we also require health education and community participation. So these are the 10-point agenda which I've thought of, and I would like to get during this course of this conference feedback from our colleagues in South Asia and also from outside South Asia, from Wonca Rural, Warsaw, Wonca World, participants of this conference, these delegates, and maybe from South Asia's perspective, we would like to emphasize on these points. So thank you very much all for joining this conference today. It is challenging but very heartening, and I'm very happy to see you all participate with great enthusiasm and supporting this conference and event in South Asia. Thank you all very much. Thank you, and my greetings from South Asia, New Delhi, India.
Thank you very much for Dr. Raman Kumar for a nice speech. Now it is time to call Dr. Ronald Lee, World President, Wonca. I request to his opinion in the frame. I welcome.
Everyone. Welcome to this very
Thank you, Dr.
innovative
Ronald Lee.
conference series on rural issues in primary care. May I first of all congratulate and applaud the organizers of the conference, specifically Zakia Rahman and his team, for their energy and enthusiasm in bringing this conference together, despite the global challenges facing them. In some circumstances, they may have been called stubborn by refusing to accept that a conference simply wasn't possible. But no, they got their thinking caps on and their determination together, and they have created a welcoming rolling conference which people can join as and when they are able. Their determination has paid off, and I'm delighted to speak to you as the rolling conference starts. We in Wonca are well aware of the strong sense of belonging enjoyed by all those involved in the Wonca Working Party on rural practice. Innovation is not new in this group. You each have to be innovative every day in your practices. But organizing this conference to embrace as many as possible on a weekly basis over a period of months is a great way to engage and to maintain links with those who might not be able to devote whole days to participating. Wonca Working Party on Rural Practice has a long history of innovation. All of you are working in rural areas, which are frequently underserved and under-resourced. But your ability to connect with each other, to build relationship across nations and regions, to find a home in Wonca which accommodates all of you is truly inspiring. The leadership of John Wynne Jones as chair was renowned, and he was a hard act to follow. But Bruce Chater has taken on the challenge admirably, and his leadership of such a large group of people has continued by encouraging members to find a role suited to them, by giving young rural doctors the space to learn and grow, while recognizing the wisdom available from those with many years of rural experience. I specifically applaud Wonca Working Party on rural practice as being foremost amongst Wonca's working parties in encouraging young members into leadership positions. The development of rural seeds has given so many young doctors working in rural areas the opportunity to take on increasing positions of leadership, both in their local areas and in the global working party family. The fact that this conference cannot be held face-to-face reminds all of us the challenges we are facing around the world during this pandemic. There's no sign of it easing yet, but the mutual support, respect, and affection demonstrated by the rural family meeting in this virtual conference will stand all of us in good stead. Our strength is in building together, in respecting one another and learning from each other. Your previous experiences of rural doctors' meetings are anything to go by. I know you will not just learn over the coming weeks, but also know that you will enjoy the time you have together. And as ever, I'm sure you will also find ways to have fun. Congratulations again on creating this wonderful space for friends and colleagues. I will drop in when I get a chance, and I look forward to hearing and seeing colleagues and friends as they celebrate their role in providing innovative healthcare to rural populations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Donald Lee, for your valuable speech. Primary Care and Rural Health Bangladesh is doing fabulous work in Bangladesh throughout the year. Let's see the theme song of Primary Care and Rural Health Bangladesh.
For rural people, beautiful. Welcome to our country, it's Bangladesh. Welcome to our country, it's beautiful. Bangladesh, welcome to our country, it's beautiful. welcome to 17th World Rural Health Conference. Welcome to Rural Health. We are for rural health, we are for SDG. We are for rural health, we are for SDG. Beautiful. Welcome to our country, it's Bangladesh. Welcome to our country, it's beautiful. Welcome to our country, it's Bangladesh. Welcome to our country, it's beautiful. Let's work for improvement of rural health. Let's work for improvement of rural health. Dream of Dr. Zakir Rahman, better health for everyone. Dream of Dr. Zakir Rahman, better health for everyone. We are for rural health. We are for rural health. We are for SDG. We are for rural health. We are for SDG. Beautiful. Welcome to our country, it's Bangladesh. Welcome to our country, it's beautiful. Welcome to our country, it's Bangladesh. Welcome to our country, it's beautiful. Welcome to conference. Welcome to conference. Welcome to conference.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the possibility of going to join you in Bangladesh in 2020. I've never been there before, and I didn't know that it was the 8th most populous country in the world. So that's quite astounding. And I know your challenges are great in terms of primary care, but I also see that you are making great strides and doing very good things towards that. So I look forward to learning more about that and what you've achieved. And I hope that I can learn from your experience as well. Thank you.
Clinical school. And why I think research is so important is that it makes sure that as a clinician you keep yourself up to date, and that we do this naturally in our practice all the time, but we don't tend to think of ourselves as researchers, but in fact we are. We're at the front line of research, and it's very important.
In most of the countries that I visit for my work, I find that there are three groups that are disadvantaged: the poor, the vulnerable or the really seriously ill, and the rural populations. So we have to make a big effort to get equity for the people in rural areas, and part of that is making sure they get the family doctors and the workforce that they need to support and care for them. So one thing Wonca is trying to do is to champion rural as a choice for family medicine right from the beginning of medical school and right up through the career. And there's lots of ways to do that, but the most important thing is think rural, and don't forget to think rural.
Absolute pleasure to meet Zakur again at the India conference, and to really realise how enthusiastic Zakur is and doctors in his own country to really solve the problems and the health issues of Bangladesh. And I think it's really important to support those doctors who are out there doing the hard yards in the rural towns to help their citizens and their communities get better care and have greater and healthier and longer lives. And I think we absolutely have to support Zakur and his team and his rural doctors in Bangladesh to the best they do the best that they can to deliver better care to their country. Thank you.
My name's David Gaskell. I'm a Scottish doctor. I'm a medical director in the Kimberley region of Northwest Australia. And I believe very firmly that any research has to be locally relevant to the needs of the people where you serve, so they see and they gain from it. They're not just being researched. So let's align all our research projects with the needs of our people, our populations. Well done. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Val Walsh. I chair the Wonca Working Party on Education. I've been delighted to be here at the Rural Conference. And I have to say we really need to have much more research and evidence to see how we can train and educate doctors to work in the rural community and become rural generally. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Hello, my name is Ruth Stewart. I am an Australian rural generalist doctor. I live and work in the Torres Strait, which is in the most northern part of Australia. I'm a general practitioner obstetrician, and I'm also the president of the Australian College of Rural and Remote Medicine. I hold a chair as the Associate Professor of Rural Medicine at James Cook University. And in consideration of all of those roles, I'd like to tell you that it's vitally important for rural and remote doctors to participate in health research, because there are many unanswered questions about the health of our communities and how we as doctors and members of the health services can best serve their needs. I look forward to reading your papers. Thank you.
At this conference, I've been delighted to see so many people and presentations from young doctors in particular, but from doctors across Bangladesh, talking about the extraordinary work that they're doing in rural health and in primary healthcare in Bangladesh. I actually myself lived in Bangladesh in 1974. which was well before many of you young doctors were born. And I reflect back then to what I saw as a very, as a young person myself, about the healthcare system, and I'm just so impressed at the developments that your country has made. You presented this morning about the huge increases in life expectancy, the decreases in maternal and infant mortality, and these are absolutely due to the work of primary care, and in Bangladesh to the work of rural primary care. Certainly distances have shrunk with increasing infrastructure of roads and internal air transport, and obviously there's been a big flow of people to the cities, and healthcare in overcrowded cities is obviously a particular issue for primary care, but rural health is also, and will I suspect in Bangladesh, remain a really key and important area. And as we've heard, as there is a flow of younger people to the city, it's older people, people with chronic diseases, people who are frailer, who will be left in those rural areas, and that's going to prove another challenge for rural doctors. So congratulations to you all. You're doing an absolutely fantastic job, and I look forward to the next Rural Health Conference hearing even more about the fabulous things you've done.
Thanks very much. I think we obviously need to find the research that's out there, encourage research at the front line in primary care and secondary care in rural areas. And we need to make sure that all the research that's out there in those journals, which Ian and Paul and others have done, is brought together in a way that it can be analysed properly and given to the people who make the decisions. So I think that's particularly important. So with your permission, Zakir, I think we might move to the small group now, or the group that's here, and just try and get some of those key bits of intelligence as to where we can find that stuff. So thank you very much for your work with us.
Thank you very Thank you very much, everyone. Bangladesh is going very dynamic on the health sector. The one who had contributed the most, Dr. Mamun Al-Matab Shopnil sir. I am glad to call him to share his view of primary care and rural health Bangladesh. Please welcome Dr. Mamun Al-Matab sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me and for giving me an opportunity to speak here. It has been an extreme honor for me to be here with you today and share how I feel about this conference. Number one, I would like to actually congratulate Professor Zakir and his team that in these difficult times, he has been able to pull together this conference, and the conference is being held finally, although virtually, during this COVID-19 pandemic. This is the first, if I'm not wrong, a World Congress of Wonca to be organized in Bangladesh. We would have loved to see the meeting taking place, and we all joined, having been able to join physically, but that is not the case. But yet again, what has been done is really commendable. I have particular passion for Wonca because I remember 1999 when I went to the World Rural Health Congress of Wonca in Kuching, Malaysia. And that was the first international meeting actually that I participated and presented a paper. So Wonca is, and if I'm not wrong, I happen to be a member of Wonca since 1998. Though there was a long dissociation with Wonca, I am grateful to Zakir that he has again made me a part of this global family. In this COVID-19 pandemic, I think the role of Wonca, general physicians, especially rural medical practitioners, is even more highlighted because we are seeing that the best of the best countries with the best of the best healthcare have failed to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas in countries where there is a strong rural health base, have rather done better. For example, I can cite the example of Bangladesh, where it was once predicted that millions, if not thousands and hundreds of thousands will die from COVID-19 because of lack of hospital beds, especially ventilators. But subsequently, what we have seen is that today we are having difficulties, we are facing difficult times, but not as bad as was experienced by some of the developed countries in the world in the early days of COVID. And even today, when there's a resurgence of COVID in the developed countries, we are fortunate we are not seeing that as of now. And I will give much credit to the community clinic system and the rural healthcare facilities that we have in Bangladesh, because though much of our people live much below, I should not say below the poverty line, but are not as much as facilitated or as much as enjoying the good things of life as in the Western world. But for every 6,000 population in Bangladesh, we have a community clinic where there is a community healthcare worker who he or she provides a basic healthcare, not only medicine but also health awareness to the local community, which has actually strongly helped. And also our extreme reach of primary healthcare up to the subdivisions and beyond has, I think, helped us tackle a lot because we have a population, we are seeing ignorance in many cases in maintaining the health restrictions by the common people. Despite that we have been able to handle this pandemic is a testimony to the rural healthcare and the general practitioners of Bangladesh. And in this context, I think that this conference will be immensely beneficial if it will not only allow us to share our experience with our colleagues overseas, but also the GPs of the country, the rural medical practitioners of the country will be encouraged. They will learn a lot. And for that matter, I actually thank once again the organizers for pulling this conference together. And not only this conference, they have also been able to bring in the leaders of primary healthcare in Bangladesh. I see all the big names. Professor Kanuvala I can see on the screen. I can see Dr. Nurul Islam on the screen. And since it's a restricted screen, I may not be naming many, but what I see is that all the leaders of primary healthcare are endorsing this conference. They are here, which is a big boost for the primary healthcare in Bangladesh. Also, I see many big names, the global president and all other leaders from Australia, from India and the region here. So this is no doubt a big boost for primary healthcare in Bangladesh. And with my limited capacity, I can ensure that we will do our best to support this movement. Tomorrow I have a keynote talk where I will share how, in my experience, primary healthcare, helped to come to put our health system back on track after the initial setback that was faced due to COVID-19 pandemic, and also if there is a second wave that we are all anticipating, how primary healthcare can actually be the major tool or the primary tool in preventing losses of valuable lives in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mamunullah Shopil sir. Now, Bangladesh at her 49 year of independence, its beauty cannot be expressed in words. Let's have a glimpse of beautiful Bangladesh on the screen. I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Life is about endless learning. Feel the vibe of the longest beach. Learn the power of inner strength. It's Royal Bengal Tiger's territory. For dangerously sweet reward, learn how to collect honey. Unlearn. Give yourself the surprise you deserve. Yes, you always loved racing. Learn to race without wheels. Here, every home is a school of celebration. When the heart opens, you suddenly learn to accept the invitation of happiness in its fullest version. See how hope defeats all boundaries, and how meaning of inner silence revealed in words. Experience the spirit of freedom in the air. The father of nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, liberator of Bangladesh, rests here. Silence. You will learn the true meaning of warmth here. Every alley has a story that embraces. Who else can tell you to love your language?
এখন এটা শেষ করে দরকার জানেন আমরা কি দেখো বন্ধ করে প্রেসিডেন্ট ভিডিও দাও মেসেজ দাও প্রেসিডেন্ট পিপলস
Welcome to the school of life. Admission going. To beautiful Bangladesh.
প্রেসিডেন্ট ভিডিও দাও প্রেসিডেন্ট ভিডিও এটা না তো
He is Mr. Abdul Hamid, the Honorable President of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. He gives us a message and says the 17th World Health Rural Conference 2020. Here it is. He is Mr. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who is called the father of the nation in Bangladesh. So here is the short biography of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
1920 সালের 17 মার্চ সূর্যরশ্মি হয়তো একটু বেশি আলো ছড়িয়েছিল, কারণ সেদিন গোপালগঞ্জের টুঙ্গিপাড়া গ্রামে বাবা লক্ষ্মীর রহমান ও মা সায়রা খাতুনের ঘর আলো করে জন্মগ্রহণ করেছিলেন সর্বকালের সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ বাঙালি, জাতির জনক বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান। অন্যায়ের বিরুদ্ধে কখনো মাথা নত করেননি বলেই 1948 সালে ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে ভর্তি হয়ে বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিব একজন জনপ্রিয় ছাত্রনেতা হিসেবে পরিচিতি পান অল্প সময়ে। ভাষা আন্দোলনের সময় জেলে বন্দী থেকেই রাষ্ট্রভাষা সংগ্রাম পরিষদকে পরিচালনা করতেন। 52 ফেব্রুয়ারিতে টানা 13 দিন অনশন পালন করেন বঙ্গবন্ধু। 54 প্রাদেশিক নির্বাচনে ইতিহাস গড়ে মুসলিম লীগ নেতা ওয়াহিদুজ্জামানকে গোপালগঞ্জ
Thank you, everyone. Here, I would like to call Dr. Noor Islam, ex-president Wonca South Asia. Please welcome Dr. Noor Islam, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Thanks to Almighty Allah to give me the opportunity to speak in front of a large number of audience after severe attack by coronavirus. I pray for the corona affected people around the world for their early recovery and those who died for the peace of their departed soul. I convey my best regards and thanks to Wonca Working Party on Rural Practice for their choice to select Bangladesh for 17th Wonca World Rural Health Conference 2020. Theme of which is achieving rural universal health coverage through community approach. It reminds me Almaty Declaration of 1978, which identifies the primary health care as the key attainment point for the goal of health for all. I congratulate government of Bangladesh. They thought about the community people. That's why they established 14,000 community clinics in different parts of Bangladesh. Their proposal was 18,000. They expected 6,000 men in each clinic. They started it from 1986. Now onward, the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina received the award in 2015 for achieving target for infant mortality and maternal mortality and polio-free Bangladesh. We thank the but last but not the least, I want to congratulate Professor Zakir Rahman and his team to organize this conference successfully. I also congratulate Dr. Dinalri, President Wonca, Dr. Bruce, Chairman, and Dr. John, immediate past Chairman of Wonca Working Party on Rural Practice, and Dr. Garth Manning, CEO Wonca, for their wholehearted support and cooperation to make this conference a success. With best wishes to you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Nurul Islam, sir. Now the pioneer of PCRHB, Dr. Zakir Rahman, special less to describe him. I want him to address some of his work and speeches about PCHRB. Welcome, Dr. Zakir Rahman.
Good evening from Bangladesh. We are more than 100 kilometers from our capital Dhaka. So it's a very rural area, and so many challenges, even in connectivity. But still, this is the real field of rural. We are from real rural area. The telecast and 17th Wonca World Rural Health Conference opening ceremony. Ever first time in the history of the outside the Dhaka city, even in international conference. So this is the first ever World Rural Health Conference hosting by Primary Care and Rural Health Bangladesh. And thank you for believing with us, with my young team and my senior advisor. The people of Bangladesh are grateful to Rural Wonca World and all my supporters and colleagues who support everything by registration, donation, by connectivity, and many things. Queensland University, Australia, Australian College of Rural Remote. But I have time, I think, in 21st February 2021 closing ceremony, we'll say something for you. Today, I will not say anything. I have planning to say more things, but now I decided to say no to anything. Because so many days and nights we are waiting for these days, we are waiting to see your face. And finally, our young team met with you, and they are very waiting, and they are like it, love it, to meet the conference, and ultimately they are all the effort going to a right way. So I think all my boys and girls, all my volunteers, young doctors, I have a very young team, more than 50 member organizing committee. My average age is below 30. So I'm proud organizing chairman with these young guys and so many talented advisor, senior advisor. You see, Professor Kanuwala, Professor Nurul Islam. I have Dr. N.M. Abdal. Professor Abdal is the current secretary of the Bangladesh College of General Practitioners, another member of Wonca. And I have a condolence. I must say, I am very sorry to say, Professor Mirza Mazharul Islam, the champion of family medicine. Yeah, in a true way, he's father of family medicine, all the way ran. So many contributor we have. We have so many senior, but this is not the forum to utter all the name. But our running president, he was last breath president, Bangladesh College of General Practitioners. I pray for him, and his death this week, 11th of October, at the closing preparation of our 17th Wonca World Conference. His blessings was with us, and we hope our leaders will continue the unfinished work. And on behalf of primary care and rural health, I assure you, we do many things for primary care and rural health. Actually, we are very baby. We start in a newer way, and we show some way, and now we are very close to policymaker, to settlement, to need to explore the primary care, to explore the family medicine in the region as well as especially in Bangladesh. So hope for good days. The race, the hope will come in the last part of canal. So hope for the best. See you, and thank you very much for all your efforts for organizing 17th World Wonca Rural Health Conference. And thank you all for all your support. And finally, thank you very much for this keynote speech, Roger Stresser, and everyone, and Dr. Chatter for your unconditional support. I must say two names at least. Dr. John Jones, who was visited previously for the preparation of rural health, and he was in our keynote speaker in one of our National Rural Health Conference in 2019. And finally, the Gatmining Wonca CEO at that time visited Bangladesh. I thank them, and thanks my all the executives and colleagues and my organizing team. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you very much. I have an announcement. Dr. N.M. Abdal, Professor Abdal, who is now the senior man of Bangladesh College of General Practitioners. Please welcome Dr. N.M. Abdal. Say something in a minute. And we are very close to finish our opening ceremony. We already did ribbon cutting, pigeon, that is the freedom of bird, freedom of animal. We believe it done. And we already raised our flag. We already national anthem. and we are now waiting for celebration with cake. So we have short video to show you possibly tomorrow after keynote speech or maybe last day. Please join with us, cultural program and another fantastic keynote speech coming in tomorrow, 2 keynote speech, and after day after tomorrow 18th, Professor Mudassar Ali, who is now current chairman of Bangladesh Medical Research Council, and actually he is the president of Community Clinic Trust. So we are waiting for that keynote and cultural program. Hope you will enjoy. Thank you very much for being with us. Dr. Hanem Abdul, please.
Good evening. On behalf of Bangladesh College of General Practitioners, I do hereby congratulate organizing committee of 17th World Rural Health Conference 2020 held in Bangladesh in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic for their outstanding effort to organize the opening ceremony. I hope and I'm sure they will continue to uphold and conference motto, achieving rural universal health coverage through community approach in future. It is also significant the conference is held in a country like Bangladesh, where majority of population live in rural area. I once again thank organizing committee and the leadership of Professor Dr. Muhammad Zakiur Rahman, health protection in ongoing corona pandemic. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite Brigadier General Professor Dr. Shafiqur Rahman, Sir, Principal, Brownbury Medical College.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening. First of all, I pay my least tribute to Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity to hold this conference here in Brahmanbaria Medical College, Bangladesh. Then I thanks to President of the conference, Professor Zakiur Rahman, for giving me a chance to say a few words in this August gathering. I thanks to Wonca World Body for selecting this conference of World Health Rural Conference 2020 in Dhaka, Bangladesh. I thanks to our chief guest today, Professor Dr. Abu Said, for his useful one. I thanks to our special guests, Professor Nur Abdel and Professor Nurul Islam, for their presence here and make the occasion a successful one. Last of all, I thanks to Professor Zakiur Rahman, President, Rural Health Conference, Bangladesh, and his team members for making the effortless trying to make this conference a successful one. I really grateful to Professor Zakiur Rahman and his team for a successful arrangement of this conference. Thanks to everybody who are present here for their gracious presence and make the conference a successful one. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brigadier Professor Brigadier General Shafiqul Islam, sir. Thank you, everyone. I would like to invite, we will celebration cake and we will send a video after cutting the cake. Thank you everyone for staying with us.
From 17th World Health Conference organization finished with this celebration with cake. It's a beautiful cake. You see the program of 17th World Health Conference. Please come to this cake. And that's now from here today. And tomorrow we will invite you at same time, that is the 4 p.m. Dhaka and Astana time, that is GMT plus 6. Please join from around the globe. Thank you, bros. We will show you all the video coming days. Conference was fortunately his her birthday also coincide with this. So celebration specially with her.
Candy wrap pieces of cake.
What about it's Professor Dr. Nazdi? Hi, Bruce. Are you hearing me? Bruce?
We can hear you, Zakur. We can hear
Are you hearing?
Yes.
Yeah. So with the celebration of cake, today we like to end the conference ceremony.
And if you have talked last minute to thanks all the participants like that and inviting for tomorrow and day next and our 13th weekly webinar and closing on 21st February 2021.
Yes,
If
thank
you
you
with
very
us,
much.
no problem, we are here. If you want to close the Zoom, well, that will be happy for us.
I think we might close the conference day 1 today. And thank you very much, Sakur, for a wonderful ceremony, beautiful videos, great speeches, and we look forward to having a excellent day, same time tomorrow. So thank you very much, Sakur, and thanks very much to everyone at your university, your medical college, and all your young teams. So we give you all a big clap for that. Thank you.
Big cap for all. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
On behalf of Secretariat, thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow all.
Bye-bye.